Hello all, welcome to my YouTube channel. So in today's video, we are going to discuss how we can set up a CI/CD pipeline for Azure App Service where we will utilize the feature called deployment slots. And we will also cover how we can add a custom domain of our app service, and we will do a testing of our app service with custom domain URL as well. So let me give you a quick overview what we are going to achieve as part of this video. So this is our repositories where we have our source code. This is a sample ASP.NET Core application. And then we have configured a build pipeline where we are going to compile the code and we are going to publish the build artifact. Though this particular build artifact, which will be published as part of your build pipeline, that will be used as an input for release pipeline, from where we will deploy those artifacts to the Azure App Service deployment slot called staging. And once the staging part deployment will be done, then we will swipe the code from staging to the production environment with the help of approvals or any kind of manual intervention which we will implement in our pipeline. And then after the first time when we publish the build artifact on staging, and then we will swipe the production, then what we will see, again we will trigger a new pipeline. So basically that will demonstrate how basically in real time any company or any organization use these deployment slot features. So like basically they do all kind of testing in staging environment. Once the staging stage will be passed or the application will be working fine, then they will swipe the code to the production environment. So all the new versions which we published as part of our application, we do a testing on staging environment. Once the testing will be passed, then we will swipe the code to the production. So basically it provides us a zero downtime. So let me quickly go to my Azure portal. So very first thing what we will do, we will create a Azure App Service, and you have to keep in mind deployment slot feature you will not see in basic tier or free tier. For that you have to use standard or upper tier which you get in app service plan. So let me create a app service first. So I'll create a web app, and here I will choose my resource group which is default, sorry, a demo, and I will give my web app name. Let's put demo app 123, and the publish, because we are not using any containerization, so we will use here publish mechanism as a code, and I'll choose here runtime ASP.NET Core 6, and operating system based on a requirement you will choose. I'll choose here for Linux, and then I'll choose my region which is Central India. And here I don't have any app service plan, so it will create a new app service plan for me. And the pricing plan, I will choose here standard one, because this is just a demo, so I don't want to cost more or if I'll use premium. So let me search for standard, so I'll choose here standard. If you see here features as well, so if I'll go to feature here we will see, I think, a slot option. Okay, we are not getting here, but in free tier you will not select staging slots. You can see for free and basic we don't have. For premium we have 20 slots which we can get, and if I'll come to a standard we will get 5 slots. So S1 is fine for our demo. So let me select this pricing plan here, and rest all the fields I will leave it default. Networking, it's fine. Here I don't want any application inside, so I leave it off, but in a real time or in production use case you should enable this option, so you have a clear visibility what is happening inside your application. So let me click review and create. So this will take couple of minutes. Meantime what we will do, I'll move to Azure DevOps. So I have a project called demo here, and actually if I'll go to repository, so this is the very simple .NET Core application which I'm gonna use here. So if I'll go to my pipeline and I'll go to my build pipeline, let me quickly show you what I'm going. You can see it's a very small ML file which I have written. So this is part of the trigger main, like whenever we do any changes on the is this particular branch, then automatic trigger will be enabled. So if I'll go to here and triggers, so here we can verify if, so you can see CI is enabled. If we check this option, then you have option to disable continuous integration trigger. So for this particular demo, I leave it for enable continuous integration. Let me go back to my ML file. Okay, so I think I should go to build pipeline. Let me edit it again. So this is the trigger which I have enabled here, and you can see that I have only one stage called build. So here what I'm going to do, there are three tasks I have added here. One is .NET Core CLI build task, second is publish task, and third is a publish build artifact. So from this particular task, which is .NET Core CLI build, here we are basically compiling our code, and here we are publishing the build artifact on this particular location. And on this particular task, which is publish build artifact, here basically what we are going to do, we are copying the artifact which is published as part of our build, and we are copying in the Azure pipelines. Okay, so this is the very small build pipeline or ML file which we are going to use here. So let me quickly run a build. So whatever the publish artifact we will get from this pipeline, though that particular artifact we will use in a release pipeline as an input, because we need something which we can deploy in the server. So you can see the first command, the first thing what it is going to do, it is downloading the source code from my Azure repos to the agent, and then it is going to compile the code on this particular stage. Okay, meantime this build pipeline is running. Let me go to my Azure portal. So here we have created a web app called demo app 123. Okay, if I'll go to here deployment and deployment slots, so as of now we don't have any deployment slots. So what we will do, we will create a new slots called staging, where we do a deployment. Okay, so it's loading. Let's wait. If I'll go back to my pipeline, so it's completed. If I'll go here, sorry, publish items, you can see here we get the content which we will deploy. So the artifact we got from the build pipeline. And if I'll go to my release pipeline, so I don't have any release pipeline, so I will create a new release pipeline here. Meantime, let's see if this is coming out. Okay, so no slots have been added, so let me add a slot. So you can see the standard plan we can create 5 slots, so we don't need a 5 slots here. So I'll just provide a name here, staging. And if you want to clone a settings from your main web app, which is demo app 123, by default this is act as a production app. So if you want to clone any settings from there, you have an option. So let me choose it, and I will add the deployment slot here. Okay, so meantime it's adding a deployment slots. We have created only one slot which is staging, but by default it will create another slot called production for us. So let me go back to my Azure DevOps. Let's quickly create a new build release pipeline. So I'll choose here a blank stage empty job. So here I will give a name called deployment to, sorry, STA staging slot. Okay, let me save it. So here the very first thing what we have to do, we have to add an artifact which we have published as part of the build pipeline. So let me quickly add the artifact. So this is our project demo, and let me choose my build pipeline, which is demo app testing. So you have a option, the default version. You can always pick a latest. If you want to need any specific version, that also you can use here. So I'll go with latest one. So the latest which we have published, that will pick up automatically. So let me add it. Now the next thing, here you can see a schedule. If you want to schedule this release on any particular day or time, you have that cap option, but we don't want any schedule trigger, so let me disable it. Now I will go here job and agent job. So here you have a agent pool, so let me choose Azure pipeline, and agent specification I will choose U12 latest, but as per your requirement you can select whatever you want. And you can see the artifact which we have added there, so we are getting this latest one. So I don't want anything on this particular thing. So now let me add a new stage. What we have to do, we have to do a deployment of our app service. So Azure App Service deploy, this is the task which we will use here. And here I will add my subscription, which is Azure Test. And app service type we have created for Linux. So let me choose here web app on Linux. And app service name is demo app 123. Now here you have an option to deploy to a slot or app service environment. So let me select this, and here I will choose a resource group. Then you can see the production comes by default, but if you will see, we have another slot called staging, where we actually have to do a deployment, and the next stage we will do a swiping from staging to a production. Okay. Now runtime stack, so I will again choose my .NET Core CLI. So this is .NET Core CLI, and startup command, if you want to specify any, like what DLL should it run, so you can specify. Otherwise by default sometime it automatically pick up. So let me leave it blank. Otherwise if I have to provide, I need to type here .NET and the DLL name which it will basically run. So I don't want to specify the startup command. Let me save it. So this is the first stage which we have created called deployment to the staging slot. Okay. Now next what I will do, I will add another stage here, and let me choose empty, and here I will choose swipe stage. Okay. And I will add a task here. So the very first thing what we will do, again we will select the agent pool and the agent specification, which is U12 latest, and rest all the fields I will remain same. And now I will add a task here. So here we have to search something for Azure App Service Manage. You can see the commands here: start, stop, restart, slot swipe, slot delete, and lot of options we are getting here. So we actually want this particular task. So I will choose here my subscription Azure test action, what action you want. So for now we are going to see a swiping the slot. Otherwise you can see a lot of commands here as well. So I will choose a swipe slot, and now I will choose my app service name, which is demo app 123, and resource group is demo. Now source slot, so here I will choose staging is my source log, because from staging we will swipe with the production. Okay, so this is fine. Let me save it. And after swiping, what you have to do, you want some kind of manual intervention as well, if you have to do some kind of sanity check as well. So for that what you can do, you can again add a agent less job here. So here maybe I will type here sanity check, and here I will add a task called manual intervention. You can see the lot of options we are getting. If you have any work item which you have to query, like this is completed or not, so a lot of things we can do from here. So I'm going very basic one, which is manual intervention. So here I will give here name sanity check. So basically here you can provide the instruction what all the things you have to check once your application will be deployed on this particular environment. And so I don't want any instruction, I'll just copy paste. If you don't specify also, that is also fine. And here notify users, if you want to notify any users, or like, and if you want to send any emails about this particular stage or task, like what is happening, you can specify the users as well. If I'll search here, you can see my name is coming, a lot of group as well, so we don't want any. So let me save it. If I'll go back to my pipeline, so here I have a deployment to stage of staging, the very first stage, and the second stage is a swiping. So but here what we have to do, we have to set up some kind of approvals, like someone should approve, then only it will, this particular stage will run. So here let me select approval, pre-deployment approval, and here I will add my user account, and rest all the fields I will remain same. Let me save it. And if you want to enable a CICD as well on this particular, you have that option called trigger, so you can enable that particular thing as well. So I don't want any triggers. This is the very simple things which we are going to see here. So now what I will do, I will create a new release because we have already a artifact. So if you want some anything to manual, you have that, you can select that particular stage which you want to run, but I will leave it default because we want in a proper format. So let me create a new release here. So you can see the staging slot, it has been queued without any approval because we have not set any approvals here. So if I'll go to logs, so it is starting. So if I'll go to where you can see the demo app 123, and this is a staging. So let me go to the staging environment because here we are going to do a deployment of our application. So production and staging both will have their own URLs, but this is fine for testing purpose, but for the end user you cannot provide the URL something like this, right? So if I'll go to this particular URL, so we are getting a default page. Once the deployment will be completed, where it is, okay, once this deployment will be completed, we will see our ASP.NET Core sample page, and we will do a testing on this particular URL. Once everything will be fine, we will swipe to the production. So let me go to my main web app, which is this one. So if I'll browse it, okay, let's load it. Okay, so we got a URL. So if I'll, okay, sorry. So if I'll see here, the content we are getting a same in both the app now, because this is the default page when we create any app service. And the URL you can see, this is the hyphen staging has been added in the staging environment. But if you see the main URL, we don't have any staging. So this particular URL customer or end user will be used, but this is something not a unique URL, like this is not anyone can remember this. So for this particular URL we will add a custom domain here. Okay, so let's first quickly verify the app on staging environment. So let's see if my pipeline is succeeded. Okay, so let me quickly refresh this page. Meantime, it's loading. Let me go back to my pipeline here. So you can see the swipe stays. It's waiting for my approval. Once I approve, then the swipe will perform. Swiping will be performed. So first verify this particular staging URL if we are getting the content which we have published. So okay, so we are getting welcome to the journey of DevOps YouTube channel version 1. Okay, so it means the deployment is completed on a staging environment, and we will do all kind of sanity which is required. And if I'll refresh my main app service, so I will get a default page because we have not done a swiping. So let me go to my pipeline and let me approve it. Let me close this. Let's wait a couple of minutes until the deployment is going on in this particular stage. Okay, so you can see this swiping slot is completed. Now it's waiting for a sanity check. So you can resume or reject. You have two options. So let's quickly verify our staging step stage URL. So let me refresh it. So you can see we are getting a default page here. If I'll check my production app, so now here we are getting a content of our application which we have deployed. So here you can see this sanity check. Why we have added here? Because we, after deployment, we want to do some kind of sanities of this particular application. If everything is working fine, then what we will do, we will go back and resume, and it's completed. It means the application is deployed successfully. Okay. Now what we will do next, we will add a custom domain as part of this particular URL. So I have already a domain in GoDaddy where we will add this particular app URL. So let me go to settings, and here you can see we have an option called custom domain. Okay, so here we will add a custom domain, but before that let me open my GoDaddy account. So I'll go to my product, and I'll go to DNS. Okay, so here basically you have to add two records. Okay, so let me go back to my app URL and search here for add custom domain. So domain provider, app service domain, all second option we have all other domains. So I'll choose here all other domain, and SSL certificate I don't have any, so I'll choose add certificate later. And here you have to provide your domain name. So my domain name is here the journey of devops.com. So I have added here. Now let's quickly minimize it. So let me validate it. So you can see the validation status here. Okay, so validation is passed. Let me go back to my GoDaddy account. I think I have already added a record here. Okay, so you can see. So we have I have already added a txt record, which is this particular value. You can see the host name, and if I'll go back here, the host name is txt. Sorry, this is the particular host name and the value of the host name. Just start from 98 and end with E4. So if I'll go back here, it's E4, so it's already added. And the CNAME value is demo app123. Let's verify. So that particular record we don't have. Let me try to add it. So I'll choose here value, and let me go to my DNS, and here we will add a new record, and here we will choose CNAME, and here www dot value is the URL. So if I'll go here, okay, so add more record. No, sorry, I don't want more record. Let me cancel this. Let me add another new record called cname and the value, and here www, and save it. So let me verify my identity here. So here I have to add my security code. So let me see it. Okay, so I got my OTP here, 934776. Okay, so it's now added successfully. So we have added two records. One is txt record and another is a cname, which URL we want to forward, uh, redirect on this particular URL dot, which is the journey of DevOps.com. Okay, so let me search it if it's working. Okay, before that, let me add this record to here. So let me add it. So you can see the status is not winding because of we don't have any SSL certificates. So now let me copy this URL and search it. So okay, so it's not loading. It will take couple of minutes to reflect because okay, the value is also incorrect here. Check if there is a typo or spelling DNS. So we have recently added the CNAME URL. Let me go to my DNS. So it will take couple of minutes to change the reflect. So we'll wait couple of minutes. Meantime, what we will do? Okay, it's loaded now. You can see. So this is the particular URL which we provide to the end user or customer. Now you can see here we have a version 1. Now what I will do here, let me go back to my Azure portal and I'll go to my repos, and here I will made some changes on index.csm HTML page. So here what I will do, I will change here version 1 to 2 and let me commit it. Okay, so as soon as I commit, so the pipeline should be triggered because this continuous integration is enabled. Okay, let me close this. So now what you will see here, let me go to this. So you can see this demo app 123 hyphen staging. So here we are going to do a deployment, and once we will verify the version here, if everything is fine on staging, then we will do a swiping. So whatever the content we will have here now, that will be published to as part of this. So ideally here we will see a version 2 on this particular URL, which is version 1, and the staging URL, which is this one. Here we will see a version 1. So main app will have version 2 and staging will have version 1 after swiping. So let's wait for pipeline. Okay, it's completed. Let me go to my release pipeline. So actually I have not configured the CD also, so I have to create a manually. So let me quickly create a release here, but if you want you can enable here also. So let's wait for a couple of minutes. Once the staging deployment will be completed, I'll resume back the video. Okay, so deployment is completed on a staging slot. So let me go to my staging slot here and let me refresh it. Okay, Let me go back to the release pipeline. Let's see if any issues or something. So deployment is completed successfully. Uh, let's refresh it again. Okay. So here, if you can see, we are getting a version 2 on staging URL. So now what I will do, I will go to my pipeline and I will approve it. If I'll refresh this particular page, here we will also have a version 1. And let me go back to my pipeline. So whatever the content the staging environment will be having, that will be copied to the production, and whatever the content we have on production, that will be swiped to the staging environment. So whenever you do a new version of your application deployment, in case you find any issue, then you can quickly roll back to the previous version which was stable. So that is the advantage we get on the deployment slots. And you can see a downtime is also like zero downtime, basically, I would say. So it will take again a couple of minutes. Let's wait. Okay, so this swiping part is completed. Now it's waiting for a sanity check. So let me quickly verify my URL, which is production URL. So if I'll refresh it, so here we are getting a version 2. And if I'll go back to the staging here we would see a version 1. So now here we are getting a version 1. And let's verify a custom domain URL as well. So here we are getting a version 2. So that's how basically we configure or utilize a feature called deployment slots in Azure App Service to achieve a zero downtime and quick rollback to the previous version in case of any issue. So I hope it's clear. In case if you have any issue, then you can ask me over comment. So that's all for today. See you in next video. Thank you so much.